Hi, my name is Megan Rennebaum, and my case study country is Peru. Peru is located in western South America, bordering the South Pacific Ocean between Chile and Ecuador. The climate is very all-encompassing. It varies from tropical in the east to dry desert in the west, and temperate to frigid in the Andes. An interesting fact about Peru is that there are actually three official languages, Spanish being the most popular at 84.1%, then Quechua at 13%, and lastly Aymara at 1.7%. The economy of Peru is highly reliant on tourism. There is also a wide range of important mineral resources that are found in the mountainous and coastal areas, and Peru's coastal waters provide excellent fishing grounds. Peru is the world's second largest producer of silver and copper. The country has one of the highest GDP growth rates in Latin America due to mining output increasing significantly in 2016. Peru's history is one that is rich and dynamic. Some major points include the Incan Empire, which flourished from 1438 to 1532. Unfortunately, it was short-lived. The empire was located in the Andes region and had great military strength. However, the Spaniards invaded and the empire quickly fell due to the Spanish weaponry and disease. The greatest site left behind was Machu Picchu. Located in the mountains of Cusco, archaeologists believed it served as a royal estate of a sort for the noble Incans. Today, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the 7 wonders of the world. This photograph was taken by myself when I visited, and I can say firsthand that it is absolutely incredible. Peru declared its independence in 1821, and remaining Spanish forces were defeated in 1824. After a dozen years of military rule, Peru returned to a democratic leadership in 1980, but experienced economic problems and the growth of a violent insurgency, also known as the Shining Path, which was a communist terrorist group that brought great disaster to the nation in the 1980s, slaughtering thousands and creating an economic downfall. President Alberto Fujimori's election in 1990 brought a decade that saw dramatic turnaround in the economy and significant progress in curtailing guerrilla activity. My focus in this presentation is tourism, religion, and festivities in Cusco, Peru. Tourism, cultural negotiation in Cusco. As the world has become more globalized, people are craving an escape from their fast-paced urban lives. They are looking to experience the authentic qualities of exotic and historical places. Many people living in these places that could offer this kind of experience have realized that they can profit from it, and have created a tourist enterprise to provide the visitors with the experience that they are hoping for. A very relevant example is Cusco, Peru. With its deep Incan history and ruins in Machu Picchu just a hop and a skip away, it is no surprise why many have flocked to visit this ancient city. I myself have seen this tourism that occurs in Cusco and the immense profits that the city makes off of the tourism, but I came to question myself. What is this culture giving up to be able to provide tourists with an authentic vacation? After learning about cultural negotiation, it became very clear to me. For instance, in order to appeal to the visitors, the city made many changes, such as changing the name of the city to Cusco, Q-O-S-Q-O, instead of C-U-S-C-O, to relate closer to the Quechua pronunciation, and encouraging people to speak Quechua out in the open. The city also played up to tourist expectations by performing festivals such as the Festival of Inti Raymi, in honor of the Incan winter solstice. However, there are instances where conflicts occur over this cultural negotiation. Not only can it displace cultures, but it can also distance the culture from its true roots by focusing too much on appeasing tourists and making a profit. New technologies adopted by the native people from visitors have also changed the way that people live, and carry them farther away from their culture. However, the Peruvian government is considering the negative effects that tourism has had on the city and on the ancient ruin of Machu Picchu, and hopefully the government will set some boundaries as to how many tourists may visit and to what extent that Cusco can cater to these tourists. Religion, the Cathedral of Cusco and its representation of syncretism in Peru. Syncretism plays a huge role in the lives of everyday citizens in Peru. And not only did I choose this topic because I witnessed this blend of culture when visiting, but also because religion is so prominent in the country that I yearn to learn more about its roots. A brilliant example of syncretism exists within this cathedral. Upon the wall, when one walks into the structure, there hangs a painting of the Last Supper. There is a twist, however. On the table, a guinea pig sits on a plate instead of the usual bread. This painting was no doubt conceived by an Andean deeply influenced by European Catholicism, but who, nevertheless, retained a significant share of his cultural heritage. Guinea pigs are native to Peru, and are eaten quite frequently in the country. They are an important symbol of the Peruvian culture, one that has blended with European religion to form the unique mix of civilizations that we find today throughout the country. I'd like to read a limerick that I wrote, titled, A Visit to the Cathedral of Cusco. One may walk up the steps of brick, passing by tourists with selfie sticks. Entering a cathedral so holy and big, don't forget to look for the Last Supper guinea pig, but overlooking the beauty if you walk through too quick. Festivities. The Festival of Corpus Christi in Cusco, Peru. Corpus Christi is an important festival held yearly in June in Cusco, Peru. The phrase Corpus Christi signifies body of Christ in Latin, and the festival itself celebrates Catholicism and the religion's belief in transubstantiation. I was very interested in this, not only because it is the oldest religious festival in all of Latin America, but also because I would love to witness the festival myself someday. People in the festival may participate in dancing and feasting, and though the event is predominantly religious, fancy garb, choreographed dances, and troops of musicians create a truly cultural experience. Furthermore, at night one may indulge in the chirichu, a Peruvian traditional meal, and converse with one of the thousands of people that flock to this festival each year. Peruvians come from all over the country to Cusco to take part in this festival, and the types of foods prepared displays this diversity. Signature dishes are prepared from several different regions across Peru. Each year, Corpus Christi draws more and more people to Cusco, and as the celebration grows larger, I believe that it will soon become one of the most distinguished and beloved festivals across Latin America. In conclusion, Peru and the rest of Latin America share several similarities. For example, most countries in the region have experienced social movements. Also, they share the gender/sexuality labels Amerianismo and Machismo, which I really enjoyed learning about. Both were also affected by reform and ideas such as liberation theology and Pentecostalism, and not to mention the not always positive similarity of U.S. intervention in the country. Peru is, however, unique in several aspects. The country has incredibly diverse landscapes. They were home to the Incan Empire, which affected the history of the country, and, when considering my case study topics, also has created more tourism in the country with Machu Picchu and such, which has led to this cultural negotiation in popular cities like Cusco. An interesting thing to note is the fact that Peru has 3 official languages, higher than all other countries in Latin America besides Bolivia. This aspect makes the country more exotic and interesting to tourists, but it also makes it more difficult to communicate when visiting Peru. As far as the future of Peru, the economy is improving steadily since the difficulties in the 1980s, and it holds one of the highest GDP growth rates in Latin America currently. In terms of gender equality, Peru has seen new programs that hope to increase opportunities of entrepreneurship for women, and attention is being placed on increasing the number of female private sector workers, which has already increased by nearly 1 million people since 2001. This may be an incredible improvement from past standards, but there is still a long road ahead. Also, poverty and unemployment levels have fallen dramatically, and access to healthcare has improved. Pedro Pablo Kuczynski Godard won a very narrow presidential runoff election in June 2016, He promises the creation of more equality for Peruvians, the improvement of education by raising teacher salaries and investing in schools, and promising to improve access to drinking water and give more support to Peru's farmers. On an international level, he says he aims to improve relations with neighboring Chile, which have at times been tense due to a dispute over their maritime border. Hopefully, he will successfully accomplish these goals. Lastly, before taking this course and completing this project, I honestly was pretty oblivious when considering the social, political, economic, and religious histories and current standing of Latin America. I was, of course, aware of the beauty and tourist destinations that I placed on my bucket list. However, immersing myself into the culture of Latin America has taught me that society is very different from the United States, and each country is in itself unique and fascinating. It's interesting because I now find myself discussing the concepts of Marianismo and Machismo with my Spanish teacher, or engaging in political discussions about U.S. intervention in Latin American countries with my dad. Expanding my knowledge about this region of the world has been incredibly thought-provoking, and I'm excited to see what the future has in store for not only my case study country, but for all of Latin America.